that she holds 5 team records, and after today is a member of every single relay record that's on our board, has been Athlete of the Month more than enough times, and jumps higher than half the basketball team, and recently discovered their staff. But even though all these people can see her accomplishments in times, Katie is defined by so much more than the numbers they see when she hits the wall. I've had the pleasure of training with Katie for the past 3 years. In the past 2 years, I can probably count on my hands the number of times she, Grace, and I haven't trained the same step, because we've been fairly obnoxious about it. When I was in Mexico and Katie was at NCAA's, I would run home from the beach to see how she had done. As invested as I have been in her success, I've also been invested in her struggles. I personally have learned from how Katie has dealt with difficulties. When Katie unknowingly broke her hand 3 weeks before Olympic trials, she continued to swim more races and bench press more than the rest of us. At the hospital before her surgery in California, Katie showed no signs of fear, even when the doctor raised his eyebrows at her refusal of a more powerful painkiller. All in all, Katie is one of the toughest people I've ever met. Every single time I jump into the pool to do a race, I replay what Katie said to me my freshman year over and over again. You have to push it. It's only going to hurt. It's only going to hurt for a minute more of your entire life. This is one of the thousands of pieces of advice Katie has told me. She has dispelled her advice to the team during every pre-meet talk, and she's the one to go to when you need a mental handle on the sport. And for that, I owe to her so much of my success, and I'm extremely grateful. I know all my teammates in this room would agree that Katie has shown them what it's like to be a better athlete in general. This is what Katie Miley has taught me, and this is the true mark she leaves on this program. Yes, her time splattered the walls of all the Ivy League pools, but she has conquered so much more in being the person that she is. Katie is not only talented, hardworking, and inspiring, but intelligent, beautiful, and caring. Katie leaves this program giving those below her someone to aspire to, as a swimmer and as a young woman. I can't wait to see Katie take on what the rest of the world has planned for her.
Smile. Gigi, I've chosen you. I'm looking at you so I first met Katie Miley 3.5 years ago when she was my host of my recruiting trip to Columbia. Sitting in the Carbon double she and Molly shared, I remember thinking how cool and fun she was. And in the few hours I spent with her, she really made me feel like I belonged. And I knew that if I got into Columbia, I was going to do everything in my power to become best friends with her. And you all should know that some dreams really do come true. So, in the past 3 years, I've watched Katie grow as a swimmer, person, and leader of this team. As Elena has spoken to the immense mark Katie has left on this program, the Ivy League record books, and each individual, not only on this team, but past teams, I figured I would touch upon the Katie I see on a day-to-day basis. For the past 2 years, Elena, Katie, and I have been in the same lane for almost every practice. Swimming day in and day out with these two, all the while overcoming challenges we never thought possible, inevitably produces a certain degree of closeness that cannot be replicated. Each day is like a game of chicken. One person will set the bar, and the other two will try to meet it and surpass it. It is this powerful work ethic, competitive spirit, and drive that shines through in Katie every day in practice that has certainly shaped the type of swimmers and leaders Elena and I are becoming on this team. Aside from the fact that Katie does not like to be spoken to in the morning, I have also learned that when Katie puts her mind to something, it will be achieved. For Katie, no goal is out of reach. She fearlessly approaches every challenge with confidence and grace, and it is this winning combination that inspires us all each day to want more for ourselves than we ever thought possible. Katie has always seen more potential in me than I've seen in myself, and it is this constant support that is always able to make those difficult practices a little bit less challenging, or those disappointing races a little bit easier to swallow. Next year will certainly be very different. I'll be missing one of my best friends, a great teammate, and one of the fiercest competitors this team has ever seen. Who's going to eat 3-hour dinners with me after every practice. I would fear that this team, and certainly our little lane group, would be lost without you. However, judging by the excellent examples and role models you and the rest of the seniors are to me and the rest of this team on a day in and day out, I'm confident you have given us all the tools we all need to succeed.
All right, I'm pretty sure Grace and Elena have pretty much drilled into you how important Katie is to this team as a swimmer and leader. Still, her impact truly can't be overstated. As stated before, She's talented, hardworking, intelligent, encouraging, beautiful, electrifying, and a stellar role model for all of us. However, in case anybody is still confused, I thought I'd briefly summarize Katie Miley in terms that are, at least for some, easier to understand. Katie Miley is the Gandalf that drags us and our extremely hairy legs out of our comforting hobbit holes with the assertion that we can be so much more than we or anyone else thought possible. She reminds us every time we walk on deck that, for the moment, the outside world doesn't matter, and, from the fellowship, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Katie Miley is the Robb Stark, our queen of the Northeast. Although winter has long since come, she encourages us with every break, every cheer, and every pre-meet speech to rise up against our competitors and strike down the blasted HYP, Riverdale Princeton. Last, but certainly not least, Katie Miley is the Harry Potter that leads us and defies all odds. She is the girl who wins. Dumbledore once said, "It is a curious thing, but perhaps those who are best suited to power are those who never sought it. Those who have leadership thrust upon them and take up the mantle because they must, and find to their own surprise that they wear it well." Katie came onto this team as just another one of us, the same as any of these freshmen, and yet has transformed and surpassed all of our expectations, exemplifying the very best that we can be. And so, Katie, in closing, all I have to say to you, in these slightly changed words of Frodo Baggins, is you have so much to enjoy and to be and to do, yet your part in this story will go on forevermore.